Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're here with our return to WOR Round 6 of the season, and it takes us to Abu Dhabi. Yes, it was originally meant to be the Italian Grand Prix, but apparently the RNG curbs are something people weren't a fan of, so instead we head to Abu Dhabi, which, I won't lie, one of my least favourite tracks on the F1 calendar. Championship-wise, it is getting very, very spicy towards the top of the table. Bit late Barry still leads the way on 63 points. Ekeland is just behind him on 59. We are on 53, I think, followed by my teammate Ben on 49 there. So 5 different winners in the opening 5 races. Are we going to see a 6th one tonight, or will we see someone finally make it 2 wins in a row? Let's head to post-commentary Matt for qualifying. Well, look at that. You won't get that sort of seamless transition anywhere else. But here we are then, ready in Abu Dhabi, of course, jumping immediately in with my fastest qualifying lap here. And this one, I'll be honest, as you're about to find out, quite a painful one. Currently sat down in P8 after my earlier runs, but knew there was a lot more time in the car here, so we were going to go all out there. You can already see 2 tenths up by the time we make it to the end of Sector 1, and we knew if we just kept it clean and tidy, obviously Abu Dhabi now is a weird track to try and be brave on inside F1 23. Of course, you know, it was a nightmare to drive still on F1 22. The track is fairly good fun with a good setup underneath you, but it's still not really a track that I particularly enjoy racing on inside the game, but it cannot be argued a whole lot better than it was in previous years there. A little bit of a lock-up down into the chicane there, but we were able to correct it with a really, really good run out of the corner into the second DRS zone, and now, of course, we head into the very, very fast final sector. Quarter of a second up already at the moment then, and that will actually give us a big, big boost up the order here, as 3 tenths up now as we make our way in towards the final few corners of this qualifying run. You can see ever so slightly deep down in towards the hotel section. That's going to cost me about a tenth, and then just through here, not able to get the line where I needed, wedging the car over the curbing, and you can see now as we make our way in towards the final couple of corners, that 3 tenths has gone, disappeared into thin air as we round our way through the final corner. Nice kick of oversteer as well, and we did improve, but it's going to leave us in P8 there, and that one, yeah, was really gutting. You can see by the end of qualifying there, another 3.5 tenths would have put us comfortably in P5 in the end. We would have slotted into that gap between Jack and L there. So yeah, starting P9 then on the grid, ready for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Of course, you know, every race so far this season we have seen at least one safety car, so not really expecting that to change here, as Piastri actually a new driver in the league there, pole position by 3.5 tenths of a second over bit late Barry there, of course, our big championship rival and title leader there. Max Schumi once again proving his pace in a P3 there, and yeah, the other McLaren and Jack as well in P4. So we've got a lot of work to do as we jump into race time here. But of course, as always, I'm not going to go too aggressive on the strategy, and I never really want to start on a set of the hard compound tyres on this game either, just because, you know, when we get a safety car at some point, it obviously allows us to go quite long the rest of the afternoon there, hence why, you know, it worked fantastically in Qatar, allowed me obviously to take that race victory, and has worked out well on a couple of other occasions as well there. But yeah, getting ready then, lining up on the grid here in Abu Dhabi. 29 laps ahead of us, starting a bit further down the order than I'd like, but we just need to try and keep it clean and tidy here early on tonight, as yeah, waiting for those 5 red lights. Ben on a set of hard compound tyres, it's going to be lights out and away we go there, or not for myself, getting an absolutely awful start. Pretty much K, the only one able to match me, is Mikaze, going to give me a big squeeze in towards the first corner. Sam there as well is going to absolutely fire it into turn 1, so we're going to try and get back around the outside of him there, and instantly pick up an illegal overtake in the process. Looking back, I can understand why that was an illegal overtake, but I wasn't really given anywhere to go there, as Max instantly going for a spin. We've seen that on more than one occasion this year. It's actually somehow now 3 wide on the exit of the hairpin there, so side by side with Luke's and Sam as we make our way up the back straight. You can see both of them trying to use a bit more battery than myself here. Are they going to stay side by side? Are we just going to have to back out of it? As you can see, Ekeland had a bit of a nightmare in qualifying once again, but always we see Ekeland come back strong in the races, so he's definitely one to watch out for there. So we'll try and get the switch on Sam off the corner there. As you can see again, just trying to force me actually a little bit over towards the outside pit wall there as we head onto the straight, but he's going to use again more battery as we make our way down in towards Sector 3. They're understeering a little bit wide in the AlphaTauri car. But yeah, really not the ideal opening lap then here, losing a couple of places as we make our way down in towards the final sector, but plenty of spinners and other cars with issues as well has kind of made it not look as bad as it probably should have done there. As we round our way through the final couple of corners, you can see another car into the wall, K finding the barrier there, and really easy to do now through that corner. As around the outside of Sam, we're going to try and go or not, as again we're going to get squeezed out there. Piastri leading the way at the end of lap 1, and we're going to use a bit of battery then as we head over the start-finish line to start lap 2 here. Down the inside of Sam will go once again there, and as we make our way at turn 1, we just light up the rear wheels, and we're going to find ourselves almost into the wall there. Lucky to get away with that, and now down into P15. Is it's going to get even worse for Williams, because Ben has gone round almost immediately after me there and had an incident clearly, I think, with Makaze and Luke's as well. So in all of that, we only ended up losing 1 extra place, and now down to P12 then early on, but really not the ideal start we needed to the racing. See, almost immediately we're going to be trying to get back into the full-scale attack mode here, as down the inside of one of the Haas cars they're slotting in behind the other one, and hopefully we're going to be able to try and get a run on them as well rather soon. As you can see, Sinful struggling slightly, both of them trying to go long on a set of the hard compound tyres, as that was a little bit nervous. Tried to have a look down the inside there. As you can see, Sinful, I think, realised actually a little bit later that we were going to have that instance. We're going to go right around the outside of him as we head under the hotel there, and now back up into the points we go then in this Grand Prix. But you can already see on the minimap quite a big gap opening up behind our top 5 there, just due to the nature of it feels like basically every other car had an incident early on. You can see Max already, obviously he spanned down at the hairpin and is instantly going to be all the way back up there, as Sam's actually going to reset to track. I don't know whether that's legal or not, but we're going to get another place from it, so I'm not going to complain all too much there. And actually over the next few laps, starting to take some time out of their picks, and Max in front of me as well. So the pace was looking quite good actually early on. It was just a shame I made that one little slip up at the start of the GP. But you can see as we round our way through the final couple of corners, huge moment. Bit late Barry has binned it and is out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and that suddenly opens up a huge opportunity for both Ekelund and myself here. The McLaren must have dropped the wheel over the outside curbing there through turn 1, and that's also brought out a safety car in this GP, and a huge moment for our championship leader there. Of course, had a nightmare last weekend out in Zandvoort, and is going to have another one here. We're going to box in at the end of lap 9, try and take a set of hard compound tyres right the way through to the end of the GP. But you can see, I think Piastri and Jack Clay's there at the front of the field. Neither of them have boxed, so I don't know whether they weren't on a set of the mediums. Perhaps they were on a set of hards and knew they couldn't go to the end, or what, but I could not understand in what strategy you wouldn't pit under the safety car here, because every car behind you is going to do so, almost Hamilton style back in 2021. But yeah, as we head back down then out of the pit lane, of course, got to be super careful as always. You know, this pit lane's been around a fair old while now, but still got to be careful that you don't bin it on the exit there, and we're going to re-emerge still in P9 then. So yeah, been given a bit of a lifeline. Of course, now obviously the top runners are going to be all bunched back up once again, and now we've got 2 cars as well at the front of the field with some issues here as we try and put the power down in towards the final couple of corners. Again, not actually letting me go for it there, so we've got to wait for our front runners, of course, to get green flag racing commencing once again there, and I assume Jack's just going to try and bolt out of the final corner, obviously on those worn out tyres. Is really going to have to try and run away as soon as he can there, but it looks like Piastri has already reclaimed the lead of the GP as we're now all over the back of Max, who's somehow already found himself with a penalty here, and he's going to run wide down at turn 1 as well there. Probably gained a little bit of an advantage from that one, I can't lie, but he's going to keep going in the Aston Martin car once again there as we head down in towards the hairpin. You can see we have got cars side by side there. Ekelund just up the road trying to make a move on Sinful, who I think is another one that didn't bother pitting under that safety car. So of course, yeah, the Haas having to go a lot longer into the GP, so we really don't want to get stuck behind him early on here. So going to use a bit more battery than I'd originally wanted to, but we are going to get down the inside as we head into the hairpin there. Not really going for a diving manoeuvre, just trying to slot in alongside him there. You can see on the exit of the corner he does try to show the nose, but I don't think he was really ever planning on going for a move there, as Epic's as well in front, just now slowing up Ekelund and Max ever so slightly here as we make our way down in towards the hairpin. It looks like L in the Alpine has already made their way to the front. As you can see, we've got 6 cars absolutely everywhere here. Jack's going to run horribly wide through the corner. We've still got Piastri trying to defend from everyone as best as possible here, so we've just got to sort of sit back and let the carnage unfold. Jack's gone and binned it in towards the triple, well, the end of the triple right-hander there, so that's going to be another freebie for us as we round our way through the final couple of turns. Was lucky that we were able to avoid him and didn't pick up any front wing damage. You can see now, as we start lap 13, down the inside of Ekelund will go. You can see Max now trying to make a move, as we've still got Epics battling out there. Beast as well is involved in this one, as you can see Piastri just trying to hang on and staying out of trouble as best as possible, as we now need to try and get a run on Ekelund. He's definitely a driver that we need to try and outscore by this afternoon. So we're going to try and have a look down around the outside there. Are we going to be able to hook it up? We often get some good wheel-to-wheel racing with Ekelund, and yes, we are there. He got a little bit caught out behind Beast just in front of him, and we're going to say thank you very much now. And over to P6 then of this race, as you can see Beast there again, just having a little bit of a lock-up as the Red Bull just cannot find where he needs to be on the circuit. Gets a decent run out of the final couple of corners, but now you can see Beast again going on the offensive there. We're now actually going to have a look down the inside of him though, and he's going to turn into me down at the hairpin. Not really too sure what that one was all about, to be honest, but we were lucky that we were able to catch the slide there, and that's going to allow Ben now, who's on a set of the mediums for some reason, to actually slide past me as we head down the back straight there. So going to have to try and work with my Williams teammate as best as possible. Makaza is going to come steaming in down at the hairpin and go 3 wide with both of the Williams cars there. I think there was a little bit of desync on the exit of the corner, so we're going to be able to try and get him back off the turn there. But yeah, Makaza's kind of become a little bit of a loose cannon in recent races, so need to try and make sure that we're careful when battling him over the next couple of laps there, as he again tries to hook it up around the outside and is not going to be able to do so there. And Piastri has actually done a very, very good job of thinning out the front runners here. Obviously everyone is just waiting for their opportunity to try and get past him here. As you can see now, the Red Bull losing the place to the Williams. Haven't said that all too often in recent years of Formula 1, and we're going to try and get past him as well there. As you can see, wedging that car over the curbing on the exit, that's going to not really allow him to get a particularly good run off the corner there, and I don't think he was really too interested in having this fight at the moment, as we're going to go clean around the outside there and making sure that we stay inside the DRS range of my teammate and Beast just in front. So going to try and hopefully build up a little bit of a gap there, but you can see Makaze is still within the 1 second. So now we're going to try and have a look down the inside of Ben, just kind of test, you know, what we're going to be able to do as teammates here and see if we can try and pull away. But that immediately is not going to do us any favours. A bit of a lock-up down at the end of the back straight, so Ben's going to switch me off the exit of the corner there, and again, I'm not going to try and fight the place all too hard. As you can see, obviously, with DRS, with a little bit of battery usage as well, Ben is going to say thank you very much. But kind of, you know, we don't really speak to each other all too much, but I think we've both been racing for a very long time. We sort of know how this works. I think we both kind of knew that we were just going to try and sit in the DRS of each other, of course, and just keep, switching each other. Hopefully keeping Makaze and Ekelund at bay there, as actually that's not going to work out. Makaze is going to try and get past both of us down the back straight there, and again comes steaming in at the end of the straightaway there. You can see he's got next to no battery left, as we're accidentally going to force Ben out off the corner, so hopefully we're going to be able to try and fly back past him as we head out onto the next straight there, and we're going to try and hopefully get right away around him as we make our way down towards the next corner there. Just about going to be able to get the car stopped and swoop round him we will, and back up then into P5 of the race. You can see Epics and Beast there still duking out in front. We're actually taking good time out of them at the moment, and you can see next lap though, Makaze again trying to apply some pressure here, and I didn't actually expect him to go for it, and again he's going to go steamrolling in. We're going to make contact there, actually lucky again to catch the slide in this race, and that's going to mean I lose a handful of places to Ekelund and Ben as well in the process. And yeah, like I said, we were taking good time out of Epics and Beast. I don't really get why Makaze went for the move there. Of course, he still had very little battery, and we were kind of dragging him along quite nicely. So again, just, like I said, a bit of a loose cannon at the moment. We've really got to be careful when we're battling him. As you can see, Ekelund is now going to try and complete the move as well. And Makaze instantly, he's got no battery, but he's still just going to try and switch him and get back to the inside, in towards the next corner. So really, he's perfectly within his right to be fighting these positions as aggressively as he is, but it just doesn't really make sense at this stage of the afternoon there, as we're going to try and swoop back through around the outside. You can see Ekelund actually giving me the DRS there, because clearly he'd much rather we have a wheel-to-wheel battle than with the Red Bull there. So helping me out quite nicely, which we will say thank you very much for once again, as now you can see less than 10 laps to go though of this race. Things starting to calm down a little bit. Of course, we still have Piastri in that Red Bull slowly but surely. Of course, we'll be closing in these final few laps, but would he have enough time to get back to us before the end of the afternoon? As you can see, actually, Ferrari there is facing the wrong way around. It's not Epic's, though. It is the other one, as Ben's going to dive it into the pit lane at the end of that lap. And you can see Ekelund still actually struggling quite a bit at the moment here, but as we make our way in towards turn 1 once again, I think that Ferrari is still having issues here, as I think he's actually binned it heading into the pit lane, and that's going to bring out another safety car then, so that's worked out perfectly for Ben in this race, but it is going to mean that we're going to have to dive back in and onto a set of the soft compound tyres at the end of lap 21 there. Ekelund almost binned it into the pit lane as well. That would have been a disaster for one of my other championship rivals here, and we're going to be all over his gearbox as we head into the pit lane, potentially going to open up an opportunity to try and jump him in the pit lane there. You know, maybe if the Aston Martin gets in the way or something like that. But you can see Beast heading back out the pit lane then on a set of mediums, and we don't quite get the jump. So close to Ekelund on a pit lane exit there. And as we head back down the pit lane, you can see as well, that's actually screwed over Piastri once again, because he's going to have to box onto a set of soft compound tyres like everyone else. But it's worked beautifully for my teammate, though, who is now back up and into P5 of this race. And now we've just got 6 laps to go here in Abu Dhabi. Where have we seen this before? A late race decider here in the desert. I think it's still L who leads the way at the front of the field there, potentially looking to try and claim his second victory of the campaign, but he's got Max Schumi behind him there, and Beast as well in the second of the Aston Martin. So are we going to see him bolt at the final corner? He's actually going to wait a long time, but there we go, green flag racing once again, and we're instantly actually going to get a bit of a run on Ekelund there. Decide it's probably not in our best interest to go for it down at turn 1, but clearly, yeah, that Alfa Romeo is still struggling at the moment. It's taking way too much curb through turn 1 there. Still yet to pick up a warning this afternoon, so once again it's been another good race for track limits there, as I think Constant Soda has gone round once again in that Ferrari car. As we make our way down in towards the hairpin, you can see Epic's trying to go for a move down the inside of Ben, so still losing a little bit of time and struggling at the moment. As 1 lap later, we've got Piastri now all over the back of me. Mikaze trying to follow in his mirrors as well, as there goes the Red Bull down in towards the chicane, and I knew he was going to be quicker than me, so we were really going to struggle. Epic's has gone round though, and this is the other Ferrari, so them having an absolute disaster late on in the day. And now you can see we've just got this huge gaggle of cars. Top 2 are broken free, so we've now got a 5-way scrap for the podium here with just a handful of laps to go. Beast looks like he's already used all of his ERS there. Ben's going to try to look around the outside. Ekelund is actually going to try and make it work as well there and actually get caught out in the process. Often a driver who's fantastic with his car positioning, but this time around struggling just a little bit more, as Ben now is going to try and park the bus as we make our way down in towards the final couple of corners. And once again, we have got Mikaze behind us, and I don't really want that, so I'm going to try and go for a move on Ekelund as we make our way down into the hairpin there, but braking way too late into the hairpin there, running Ekelund wide, Max Verstappen style of the corner. And I will I'll hold my hand up in a minute. That was a way too aggressive a manoeuvre. So we're actually going to let Ekelund have it once again there, come off the battery, keep ourselves off the racing line and lift out of it down the end of the back straight there. Like I said, you know, Ekelund, I have some fantastic wheel-to-wheel battles with him. Really don't want to lose the fantastic respect we have between us. And you can see heading off the corner as well then, we're going to sit in the DRS once again there, and you can see he's actually going to try and go defensive, but I'm going to make it very clear, you know, not going to try and capitalise instantly afterwards as well there. You know, going to try and let him hang on to the position here for at least a lap, you know, just to kind of say sorry as much as anything else there. But as we start lap 27 now, he's actually lost the DRS to Beast and my teammate there. So this time around, we're going to be able to try and get down the inside. You can see he's still throwing a bit of an aggressive block. You know, I'm sure tempers were still high. Obviously, we did speak after the race. You know, we've got no issues with each other. It was just, yeah, a completely misjudged move by me. And, you know, he did sort of say thank you, of course, for giving up the place once again. Because, you know, it was such a bold, brave, and not really beautiful move that I didn't really think I'd be able to sleep at night if I pulled that one off and not given up the place there. But yeah, just a couple of laps to go now of this race. Constant Soda has unfortunately retired there, getting almost to the end of this afternoon's running. As we could see at the end of 27, they're almost finding the barrier as we head out of the final corner, and that could have been a really painful moment there, just about keeping out the wall. But once again though, going to lose the place to Ekelund here, and I think that's going to all but squash any hopes we had of getting up to my teammate once again. Epic's as well, and the other Ferrari is out, so we got lost both Ferraris in the space of about half a lap there, and that's a bit of a nightmare for them, as we're not going to dive Ekeland again at the hairpin. This time around, we're going to try and wait for the DRS off the corner. I was just so scared about Mikaze going for a move that I was trying to be patient with it as best as possible this time around. We're certainly going to try and help Ekeland as well as we make our way out into the next straight there. Mikaze again is going to come diving in up the inside of the Alfa Romeo car there. Are we going to see Ekeland try and fight it? I think he had to back out. Left no room there off the exit, so we're now going to try and run away as we head down this next straightaway here and really nail it through the final sector there, as it looks like Jack Clays as well got a 3-second penalty, but is still going to try and get around Ekeland as well as we head towards the final lap of the afternoon. But this is now absolutely critical, this final sector. We need to make sure that we break out of the DRS range from Mikaze behind. I know we had a bit more raw pace than the Red Bull car, of course. He was just way more aggressive and brave with his manoeuvres as we make our way through the final couple of turns. They see losing a little bit of time temporarily, but gaining it all back up as we round our way through the final couple of corners here. And Beast and Ben are still battling in front of me, so we could still have an opportunity to try and get close to them, as now that gap opens up to over a second to Mikaze behind. So we're going to have to try and drain the battery out of the first couple of corners, make sure that we keep that gap over the 1 second mark there, and we can leave him to battle with the McLaren and Jack and Ekeland behind me there. But are we going to see Ben try and get a run on Beast there? Really looks actually like that medium tyre gamble wasn't actually the worst choice in the world for him. Didn't really lose out too much, of course, with other cars battling, and now has had a bit better rubber right towards the end of their day. But it looks like Jack now has got the run on Mikaze. They're still going to be battling, though, as we head down in towards the hairpin here. Ben just in front of me closing in on Beast once again, so he might be able to try and do something into the hairpin. You can see cars firing off behind me. You never guess who that was, who completely missed their braking point there, but still able to hang on to the position here. But at the front of the field, it looks like Max and L still duking it out for the race lead here, and it looks like I think Max has got the better of him. I don't know if there's any penalties that are due for either of them by the end of the afternoon, but making our way in towards the final couple of corners here. It was a very topsy-turvy race, a couple of incidents that could have really gone badly for us, but rounding our way through the final few turns, we are going to pick up some decent points here in Abu Dhabi. It's again another track that I really tend to struggle at. Max is going to take the dub there, and after some penalties were rescinded, he will get to keep it. L will come through for P2, and I think it must have been, Piastri in P3 there, so a fantastic recovery drive by him. Beast in 4th, Ben in P5 there, and yeah, it's going to be a good double point score for Williams as well, which really does help us out in the Constructors' Championship, because we were one of the only teams actually scoring decent, good, consistent points in all of the races. Ekeland in 7th, the Haas of Cork there in P8 ahead of Sinful, so a Haas double points finish with Jack Clays there. Mikaze actually must have had an incident right towards the end of the GP. But that's going to do us then here in Abu Dhabi. A massive thank you to all of you for watching this video. At the time of recording, there are still a couple of penalties left to be decided, so I don't quite know what the final championship standings is like. But we're going to be live again this Thursday night over on my Twitch channel. There'll be a link down in the comments below. 7 PM, ready for round 7 of the year. We head to the USA. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise, and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.